All right, let's make sure we get Facebook in here. I'm pulling it up right now, making sure it sticks around. Facebook sometimes a little touchy, a little touch and go, but we're seeing we got one connected. We got two. All right, well, fingers crossed. We're starting the show here. It is 6:09 p.m. Mountain Time. Carl, are you Mountain Time or are you Central Time? I can never remember.
I'm Central. I'm like an hour from Mountain Time.
Okay. Do you ever do the thing
So,
where you like eat
this
birthday
last
twice, right? Or New Year's twice? Hop over.
I should do that. I should do that.
Yeah.
Now, like this last week I drove, what was it? 13 hours east and I was still in Central Time Zone.
Oh, so you're way on the side there. Well, that's okay. I mean, you can
Mhm.
just like make the best of it, right? You can choose either way. So I'm Pacific time, but Broncos country is all the time. We appreciate everyone coming in today. It's Tuesday evening. We got some stuff to talk about defensive wise for the Broncos. We are rookies report, I believe, Thursday. I think it's the 17th. Maybe it's the 16th. Rookies are coming up here for reporting to training camp. The RJ Harvey storyline there, RJ Harvey storyline. We'll see what happens with the second round picks, if league wide causing problems there. But I'm Nick Kendell, joined by Carl Dumler. We've missed you, Carl. How you doing?
I'm good. I'm good. I told you I've been out here for a little bit. I forgot my headphones. Had to run. Thankfully, my house is across the street, so not a big deal. And my son is supposed to be getting himself ready for bed, and I walk in and he's got his electronics all open, and he gives me that big goofy grin, like, "Oh, yep, you caught me." But no, I've been good. It was a good week going to Kentucky with a bunch of my youth kids, and thankfully nobody got hurt while there. I had a kid like the day before we left calls and says, "Hey, I'm in the ER, cut part of my finger off."
Fireworks?
Working with the saw.
Saw? Okay.
No, he was working with the saw, yeah. And then we get there and all he does is work with the saw. I'm like,
He
well, I guess
learned.
no fear.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, hell, he learned. That's great. All right, making the same mistake twice. That's what idiots do. But one time, hopefully it's not that caliber of mistake that you can only make once. But yeah,
Yeah.
we're rocking and rolling. It is, gosh, July 15th already, and training camp's right around the corner. But we do want to say hello to everybody coming in and hanging out with us today. We got Papa Bear. Good to see you. David Mickelrath, who I've known even before joining Mile High Huddle. Like, I've known him longer than I've known you, Carl. Crazy. But good to see you. Says, good evening, Broncos country. 8 days until the real training camp. God, man, it's so great. Hopefully it's talking about injuries and everything. That nobody for Broncos gets hurt, because that's the big thing. That's going to be a big point of conversation today, or one of the main points when talking about Dre Greenlaw. David Youngkin coming in here saying evening. So Drew Greenlaw is a top 5 linebacker when healthy. Well, I'm glad we have one of the best people in place to keep our players healthy at last. Yeah, we'll get into that. Mike Thompson, good to see you. He says, do we keep players healthy or did we get rid of our injury-prone players?
That's a good question.
It's probably a little bit of both. I know that Sean Payton has talked a lot about his strength and conditioning program, and was it Bo Lowry from LSU, the name that sticks out. They hired him on, and he's been overseeing a lot of people. And Sean Payton will, as Sean Payton tends to do, will brag about the things that are good, and rightfully so. The Broncos have been, I think 2 years ago, they were the number one team in the smallest amount of starter snaps lost. And I think last year they were number one in the NFL, which me being, like the cautiously optimistic one, it's like, okay, you had 2 years, but if you roll the dice twice, you could get a 12 and an 11, right? Like back-to-back times. If you do it like 5-10 times in a row, you have my attention. So probably still expect some regression to the mean, but if they constantly are above average in terms of injury rate, they're doing something right. And there'll be some years that are worse than others because it's freaking football, right? Like it's going to happen, and who it gets injured and what it is. But they seem to have something magic in the sauce for sure.
Yeah. I think there's some things that they've figured out. One, the obvious things that they've done, like I said, new training staff, new nutritional staff. And I mean, they went all out. Mm-hmm. They traveled the country, talked to different people, said, hey, who's the best in the business? And said, we're going to spare no expense. We're going to get those people. Not saying that money buys everything, but it does help when you don't really have much of a budget to worry about. Yeah. Two, you think about that first year with the Walter Penner group. got down to the final game of the season and the field wasn't looking all that great, what do? They spend $250,000 to bring in a brand new field for 1 week of football. So I think you see that they really do care about the health of these players. They have invested in it. The players have bought into it. You see players that are now trying to come to the Broncos that have been injury prone, like this offseason. I think part of that is they were looking at it going, hey, these people have something figured out that they can help me stay healthy, increase my career, increase my earnings that I'm going to make throughout my career. Yeah, my longevity, my legacy that I'm going to be able to leave, all those kind of things. I think we're seeing a big part of that show up this offseason where teams are going, okay, yeah, you did it 2 years in a row. We're really seeing that you care about these players and you're invested in them. Now they're working on this new training facility that I can't remember how much it's supposed to cost. I think it's like $200 million or something like that. It's a lot of money. It's more than I could ever comprehend. And so, yeah, I do. I think it's a combination of both. I think there has been, like I said, got rid of some injury-prone players. That definitely helps. I think they've increased on how they help their players for sure. I think the way that they run the offseason program, especially once they get – I know all the first stages, they spend most of that time just working on conditioning. Mm-hmm. Other teams are starting to implement plays and everything else. Sean Payton says, no, I want to work on getting my players in shape so that they're ready for training camp. And I think that makes a big difference when they get to training camp. They're ready to hit the ground running. There is no buildup where, we got to wait a couple of weeks to get guys in shape. There's no more of pot roast showing up 50 pounds overweight and he can't really get going in training camp until he gets his weight under control. That we haven't seen that happening here in Denver for a while. So I do. I think the Broncos are doing a better job, but there's some luck involved too. Don't get me wrong. I mean, you got players flying around. There's fluke things that happen. If a player's knee gets hit and bent the wrong way, it happens.
Yeah, absolutely. What always happens, no fluke here. Michael Ronquillo coming in. He's always supporting us, saying good evening, Nick and Carl on building the Broncos. Appreciate you so much, Michael. We also got the boss man. Fellas, which matchup this season gives you the most trepidation? Yeah, this could go a lot of different ways, talking about individual matchups. You're talking about the team in general. Right now, for me, I'll just go with kind of a overlap of Broncos history. Bo Nix, not rookie, but young quarterback still, going up against Vic Fangio and that Eagles defense. We'll see what they're doing with the coverage units. I know they lost a lot of pieces, but going to Philly relatively early still. That one, the matchup of the Broncos pass game versus Vic Fangio and that Eagles defense off the cuff stands out for me, and just intriguing. I don't know about trepidation as well, but could be a marquee matchup and a big one, no doubt, just to kind of evaluate where Sean Payton and Bo Nix are at, and also see if Vic can get back at the Broncos a little bit.
I'll go Washington, stick there in the NFC East, just because that's going to be such a big buildup of a game of Jaden Daniels, offensive rookie of the year last year, Bo Nix, having, you could argue, a top 10 offensive rookie quarterback season. So those two really trying to prove who's going to be the best quarterback of this past draft. And there's still all the other guys. I'm not trying to take away from them. One season doesn't define everything. But I think that's going to be a really big one. And again, it being in Washington, Broncos kind of got a little unfortunate there. The tougher two matchups for the NFC East being on the road. I mean, I guess that means the home games are a little bit easier with Dallas and the Giants. But still, sometimes you like those harder ones at home. It just gives you that little bit of extra advantage. I always go back to that 2015 season. Broncos beating the Patriots in the regular season and getting home field advantage for the playoffs. I really think that was one of the big differences of them winning the Super Bowl and them being knocked out maybe in the AFC Championship game against like that of New England.
Yeah. That'll be a big one. No doubt. We do got Eric Flynn coming in with the Stars. Great to see you, Eric. A bunch of people. Edward Keating. Yo, what's up, everyone? We're hanging out. Eric saying, did another cornerback get signed last year passing PS2? PS2 is now the 5th highest paid quarterback in terms of average per year. You had PS2 get signed, then like a week later, Jalen Ramsey's contract, he got 0.1 million more. I think 24.1. I could be off on that, the earnings on that one. You had J.C. Horn signed this offseason. He signed a big contract as a pending free agent, I believe. Then you had Derek Stingley's contract extension. He was the highest paid. Now it's Sauce Gardner. So all of a sudden you got the best defensive back in the NFL. I think it's a conversation between Dre Greenlaw's former teammate, if we're going to say true back seven, best back seven player, Fred Warner's right there. But the best defensive back in football is the fifth highest paid at his position. And Broncos, it pays to have money with your ownership group. Also, it paid a little bit for just the cycle of where good players were at. Like, good players get paid. It's like, oh, is cornerback getting devalued? Well, there wasn't like a bunch of good young cornerbacks in like the draft classes leading up to Surtain. So like 2 or 3 years. You had like Denzel Ward, but other than that, has been a lot of falling off. Like Jeff Okudah didn't work out. Terrell was good, but not great. So then you had Surtain, and then boom, 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 all these other guys hit the market and get paid more. So it's a very good value right now. I do wonder if Surtain and his agent are feeling a little itchy though with that contract.
I don't think Surtain's going to be that kind of guy. He doesn't give me those kind of vibes. But I mean, that's just my opinion. Maybe he will, and he's got all the right to go do that. I don't really see him being that guy. Hey, I got paid. I thought it was a fair deal when I made it. I understand players. I helped other guys get bigger contracts. I think that's going to be the way that he views it compared to anything else. And talking about value, we have Factor being one of our great sponsors this week. Summer is here, more sun, more light, more time to do all the things that make summer so special. And the number one thing you don't want to be doing all summer, spending hours cooking inside. That's where Factor comes in. Factor's chef-crafted, dietitian-approved meals are ready in just 2 minutes, taking the hassle out of eating well.
Get outside instead of prepping and cooking indoors. Factor meals arrive fresh and ready to eat, perfect for any active lifestyle. With 45 weekly menu options, you can pick gourmet meals that fit your goals. Choose from Calorie Smart, Protein Plus, Keto, and much more.
Guys, Factor absolutely powers your day with satisfying breakfast, on-the-go lunches, premium dinners, and guilt-free snacks and desserts. It's easy to savor more this summer. Factor meals pack in the flavor with none of the fuss. Get started at factormeals.com/milehigh50off and use code milehigh50off to get 50% off plus free shipping on your first box. That's code milehigh50off at factormeals.com/milehigh50off for 50% off plus free shipping.
Gotta love them. Gotta love them. Thanks to Factor. Make sure you guys check them out. And Bailey Test Prep says, I'm here to party. Ernie Mays always also here to party. Hello, Nick and Carl. Go Broncos country only. Got our guy Greg Smith in the house. Always good to see you, Greg. Ryan Yazzie, good evening, Broncos country. Can't wait for training camp. Should be a lot of fun. Always is a lot of fun. We got William Hayes saying, gee, I feel sorry for the dude. I think he's talking about Greenlaw. Maybe he's talking about Surtain with the contract and everything. But a lot of times for these guys, it is a status symbol as well, being the number one. And because he has that contract already signed, it would be pretty good. Put the Broncos in good graces to, maybe give him a bone here. I'm not saying it's going to happen right now, but I wouldn't be surprised if there was a little bit of, at least like a year from now, potentially a soft holdout or some rumblings, but we'll see. Yeah, William says it is Surtain. It's not that I feel sorry for him, but it is an open market. He signed the contract. I understand that, but teams will cut you at a whim. It's kind of the player's only leverage they have. It's not actually a free open market where you can leave at any point, right? So there's not other leagues that you can go to or anything like that. So I don't know. It's billionaires paying millionaires. I always say that. So I will lean towards the millionaires because I don't feel too bad for the billionaires. That's for damn sure.
Yeah. And I mean, we're going to be running into this with right now all the second round picks we've got 30 of them holding out right now. That is a crazy number at this point, where it used to be when they first got this whole CBA rookie contract scale thing in place, pretty much within, I'd say 3 weeks, almost every contract was done. And now players and agents have kind of gotten used to this. They're starting to figure out, where's the wiggle room? Where can we demand a little bit more? And of course, part of being, those billionaires, part of what got them there was they didn't part with millions if they didn't have to. And so you're seeing a lot of teams who are pushing back against these players / agents. And when Houston decided to make Higgins a fully guaranteed contract, the first time the second round pick has ever had that, that really changed the whole dynamic, where every other second round pick now is kind of going, he got it, why don't I get it? What have I done differently than him? And I don't blame the players. Again, I mean, fight for it. But it could equal some really interesting holdouts. And how long are they willing to hold out? Who's going to blink first? I don't know how that's going to go. But back to Surtain here. He's earned a raise already. You know, you go have a defensive player of the year season. He's one of 5 cornerbacks to ever win the award.
Yep. First one since Stephon Gilmore
big.
In 2021, 2019, something like that.
Yeah. I mean, that's big. So if anybody's earned the right to go and demand a little bit of a raise, and for the Broncos say, yep, let's give that to you. Maybe just a few more guarantees as the contract goes on and some of those guarantees start running out to make them feel a little bit better about the contract. I'd be willing to do some of that. I think he's a great player to keep happy. I think when the rest of the league looks at that, if, hey, they're willing to come to the negotiating table a year early, that's great. They've been doing that a little bit more. I mean, like you said earlier, it helps when you've got the money that we've got here in Denver, that they're able to do some of these contracts early and not worry about the money having to go into an escrow. Are we going to be able to pay it or not? Like Cincinnati right now, that they're running into of not being able to get all their contracts done. So, like I said, Broncos have some extra ability to get these contracts done early. Guys like Zach Allen, you can get that one done early. I know John Franklin Myers has been a little bit on Twitter today talking about trying to get a contract done. We'll see if the Broncos can get everybody paid or not. Nick Bonito is probably going to want a little bit more money. Cortland Sutton is another one that I know is coming up for some money. So the great thing is, like I said, I'm not really too worried about contracts for the Broncos.
Yeah. I am to an extent that they're going to have to make some tough decisions coming up here pretty soon. And it feels like there's a little bit of specifically with the defense and the offensive line, a window this season that not necessarily the window closes, but it will evolve. Like you brought it back a lot. Like what did you lose this season? Javonte Williams and core special teamer and Smith. I mean, it really, because of, I'm sure there's somebody else, the punter, you lost you had to replace your punter. You brought everybody back. There's going to be some pieces that you like, that kind of like when Denver lost Eric Decker or Malik Jackson, right? It's like, or even like Shaq Barrett, right? Like those guys moving on, which it's like, we don't really have the finances because we're paying these other guys. It hurts. So it feels like there's a window now. So I'm worried about it to that extent, but it comes back to the Broncos having the money and paying the guys earlier, not waiting for Surtain, not waiting to get behind the market like the freaking Cowboys do every chance they get. They wait until the very last second and they pay like 15% more every contract. Denver's on the other end. So they're going to have some tough choices, but ever since the Russell Wilson contract, it's felt pretty good. The Russell Wilson one in hindsight, obviously bad. But everyone since then felt pretty good. Nothing terrible. After, Randy Gregory, and was that after Wilson? I don't even remember. That was coincided with it. Juwan James. There's been some whiffs, no doubt. Williams says, do you think they all deserve fully guaranteed contracts? From a team strategy perspective, I kind of like that you can move some stuff around and be strategic with how guaranteed money goes. But I would be a hypocrite if I didn't say the players playing the most violent sport in the United States and putting their bodies on the line and just can be cut for nothing. I think they should have guaranteed contracts. And I know that would change the landscape, and the NFL is fighting that tooth and nail to not let that happen, but I'm pro player at the end of the day. I'm pro Broncos, pro Iowa Hawkeyes, but I'm pro player. So I would like to see them get that. I'd also like them to see if they're in the league, say 4 years. I know it'd be expensive for the league. I don't care. Pro player, healthcare after they're out of the league as well.
Yeah, I think because they have the rookie wage scale, like if it was where it was before, where first overall pick could demand the highest paid contract in the NFL, then I'd maybe have a little bit more pushback. Like, you've not earned this, you've not really proven yourself, and now you could really hurt a team's ability to function for the next 3-4 years if you completely bust. But now with these rookie wage scales, where if you cut this guy and he does have a fully guaranteed contract, it's not going to be big time dead money unless you're a top 10 pick. But all those are already fully guaranteed anyway. Teams are willing to take that chance. If you're taking a player in the top 10, you believe they're going to be a franchise player for you. So I really don't, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh round, if they fully guaranteed those, I really don't think it's going to hurt the overall team as much as people think. There's going to be some, don't get me wrong, because you expect probably half your draft picks to be a bust or at best special teams kind of guy. But for the most part, these guys stay on your roster unless you've got a coaching change that all of a sudden really changes up the roster. So I think it'd be a good thing for the NFL to give into, for the NFLPA, and say, hey, yep, these are guaranteed. Let's just move forward. Then we don't have to worry about these contract stall outs like we have right now.
Yeah, no doubt. I'm pro player, so I do think they should get those guaranteed contracts. I know it'd be tough and it would change the landscape, but I'd be a hypocrite if I didn't. Good Huskers, Nick. I don't know what's going on. Oh yeah, it said go Huskers. That's what he's saying. Boo Huskers. We got Drew coming in here. Let's say Franklin, Bryant, Vele, and Mims look elite in preseason. Oh my gosh. That would be, my brain is even having a hard time comprehending. If they all look elite, I don't know. Is Bo Nix the MVP this season? He says, would you trade Sutton and for who? I'm almost ready to trade him now. You'd be getting picks back. You rarely see players for players. I still think preseason is a very small sample, and it's not always the most translatable to the regular season. You see a lot of like soft zone coverages against guys who are like backups. Sometimes, the talent really falls off secondary pass rush wise. So I don't know if you trade Sutton. If somebody's offering you a second round pick and you feel really good about those guys, maybe. But also this isn't a team that's rebuilding. As we talked about the windows earlier, Denver's going for it right now. So if, let's say, they're also looking incredible in camp, practice, everything like that as well, and then preseason exploding, and like you see like Bryant's like, oh my God, he looks like Puka Nacua rookie season, then maybe. But I have a hard time taking away from this roster right now. Like where you're talking about trading your surplus from is more so like you're probably talking about trading one of the young guys just because they're less of a sure thing versus, or like one of your backup like edge rusher types of positions or like Chris Abrams-Drain, something like that, where it's a back end roster, the guy that maybe you get a 5th or 6th round pick and you send a 7th with. But I don't know. That's a interesting conversation. What does elite mean in preseason with such a small sample when it's not exactly the same type of football with, again, an unbelievably small sample size?
Yeah. I think back to, I'm trying to remember, I think it was like the 2021 year season, and KJ Hamler went out and had some really big catches in that preseason and went for over 100 yards in one of the preseason games. I think had an 80-yard catch from Drew Lock, which again, that was another one of those moments people are like, oh, there it is. Drew Lock, he's the guy. And obviously he was not the guy. He's not been the guy for a few organizations. And KJ Hamler, is he even in the league right now? I
don't think he's had like heart issues and stuff. I don't know.
Yeah. And injuries obviously have been the big reason of why he's not worked out in the NFL, more so than can he play or can't play. But we really didn't even get a chance to see can he play or can't play because of those injuries. So I would be very hesitant to trade away our most consistent offensive weapon that we know for sure. Right now, you get into the regular season, he is your number one. If he stays healthy, going to put up 1,000 yards, probably 6-7 touchdowns or more, and going to be the go-to guy that Bo Nix has incredible comfort with. When things are breaking down, that's the guy he throws it to. And I just don't think you have another receiver that's quite like him. Bryant could maybe be that way down the road, kind of. They have definitely different games for sure. But I'm not going to trust a rookie to take over that kind of role and those kind of targets that Courtland Sutton is expected to get this year. Now, let's say you get to week 7 and all these other guys have emerged. They're doing great. And even Cortland Sutton's doing great. And you have a team that calls and says, hey, we've had 2 or 3 of our wide receivers go down. We really want this guy. And hopefully they're an NFC team, so we're not having to play Cortland Sutton until the Super Bowl. Then maybe you start thinking about it. But I really think you need to see these young guys prove it in the regular season, prove that they really have that chemistry with Bo Nix. Unless it is just one of those things that there's every once in a while, it's so obvious when you get to training camp and you're like, that guy. Like there's something different about him. Maybe that happens. I just really have a hard time believing they're going to make that big of an impact right away that you feel comfortable trading Sutton.
Yeah, and if this team was, destined for a top 10 pick kind of looking thing, and definitely in a rebuild like Sean Payton's first season, out with the old, in with the new, maybe you're talking about that a little bit more. But it seems like they're going for it, as they should be this season. Sutton's your best go-to guy for your young second-year quarterback and like far and away the number one target share guy. I can't imagine taking away enough valuable, meaningful reps in preseason to be like, you know what? We're moving on from our number one. Halfway through the season, something happens. I mean, maybe, but it just feels like they're much more likely to be adding to this team as opposed to subtracting. And again, I don't think you'll see a player for player trade. Just it's really rare. Camden, $10 too. And also thanks again, Drew, for the super chat here. And he also mentioned not wanting to pay a 30-year-old wide receiver. We got time to think about that still, luckily, and see if those guys all hit. That is not basing it on preseason football. Camden comes in and says, hi, Broncos country. I think Greenlaw can play this season healthy. If he can play this season healthy, then he can be a top 5 linebacker in the league. He's one of the only better linebackers the Broncos had outside of Singleton. Yeah, I wrote about this today for Chad. Yeah, thank you, Chad. Welcome back, Nick, after a cluster you-know-what of June. But he came in number 9th on Jeremy Fowler's list where he talked with scouts, league execs, coaches, which is a good spot for a linebacker who played, 20 snaps last season? Just barely played, coming off of a pretty serious injury in the Super Bowl the year prior, but still coming in top 9. He's behind Fred Warner, former teammate, 1A or 1B as far as the best back 7 player in football for my money right now. Roquan Smith, Zach Bond, shout out to him, good contract. Nick Bolton, which I feel like that's a little high for Nick Bolton, but good for him. Frankie Louvu, Tremaine Edmonds. Then you got Levante David still, which Levante David, 35. God bless you. Us old heads, myself included, represent. Good job, Levante. Demarion Overshone, who wasn't he the one who had like the horrible injury last season? ACL, tore a bunch of stuff in his knee. So I guess this is your injury tier here. But Demarion Overshone, and then you got Dre Greenlaw at 9, followed by Quincy Williams at 10. So a lot of guys who were free agents and signed this offseason with Bond, Bolton, Greenlaw, and Quincy Williams. We also had honorable mention for Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah, Patrick Queen, Demario Davis, Matt Milano, Logan Wilson, Jack Campbell, go Hawks, Jermaine Sherwood, Blake Cashman, some good linebackers, no doubt. But Dre Greenlaw, number 9 on this list, despite essentially not playing last season. What he said, age 28, Dre Greenlaw, ranked as high as 3 in his career. Now he's 9. Usually a player coming off an injury-riddled season would not maintain his spot in the rankings, but Greenlaw's free agency told the story. Several league evaluators said he was the most exciting free agent despite a torn Achilles in Super Bowl. I can't read the acronym. I don't even know what it was. 58. That cost it 58. That cost him all but 2 games in 2024. And when the Broncos signed him to a 3-year, $31.5 million deal, the feeling of remorse out of San Francisco was real. You guys probably remember San Francisco went very hard to bring him back, and he chose Denver, thanks in part to DJ Jones and Hufanga, of course, but also the money. About the remorse in San Francisco, they said 1,000,000% about the remorse they felt. He's a total savage, said an NFL coordinator, a top 5 linebacker when healthy. He showed that in his late season return versus the Rams, racking up 8 tackles and 30 snaps while giving up 1 reception for 8 yards and 13 coverage opportunities. The year before, Greenlaw finished with 120 tackles, 5 for a loss, 4 passes defended, and 1 sack. He's got to stay healthy and reprove it, but he's a badass. Can I say that on here? I guess I did. Smart, strong, and will knock the bleep out of you. See, they bleeped that one. Oh, that's good. Said an NFL defensive coach, I see how he stays hurt so much because he plays with so much explosion. So there you have it. Dre Greenlaw coming in 9. If he plays up to his potential, Carl, he will be the best Broncos linebacker we've had in 20 years. And we've had some good, useful linebackers over that span. You had Danny Trevathan, Brandon Marshall, Todd Davis, Josie Jewell, Alex Singleton, B-level players, useful, good, fine players. It's been a while since we've had an Al Wilson top 3, everybody knows his name, kind of second level linebacker. Am I missing something? I remember Al Wilson.
DJ Williams.
Who was it? DJ. Well, that was the same team, and I think DJ Williams was more. He was fine, but I honestly think Ian Gold was better than DJ Williams. He had the first round pedigree, so he got a little hype, but he's a little overrated. I think the linebacker that went before him, Derek Johnson, was better. Sorry, I know he's a Chief, but
there's a lot of DJ Williams tackles that he racked up a lot of tackles. They'd be 5-6 yards down the field.
Yeah.
So not actual good stops.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. They wouldn't call them run stops. That's for sure. But Dre Greenlaw, I really do think he has the chance to be the best Broncos off-ball linebacker we've had in 20 years. I think it was 2005 where we had that Al Wilson. He suffered that injury. Wasn't the same after that, but Al Wilson was incredible. Not the biggest guy, but first-round pick. Really, really good. And Dre Greenlaw has a chance to be up there in that tier if he can stay healthy. And we're going to find out with this Broncos free agency class just how much the health and training and strength and conditioning translates over, because Hufanga and Greenlaw, great players, injured a lot. We will see.
Yeah, I think I trust more for Greenlaw to stay healthy than I do Hufanga, honestly.
Yeah.
I think he had that one, unfortunately, bad injury there in the Super Bowl. Sometimes those are just a fluke thing, and it did cost him the next year. And it was just unfortunate, the timing of it. And really, in Achilles, it takes more than a year before you feel very comfortable to be making the cuts that you were before. And yes, he came back for those. I think it was 31 or 32 snaps, something like that. And he did well in them. But I think it was pretty obvious for the 49ers and for him, hey, we're not winning this year, and it's not worth my health to go out there. I might as well just get myself 100% healthy before I actually step back on the field. So I think that's more of the reason that they shut him down than, oh, nope, I kind of tweaked it a little bit more. It's just, why is it worth it? Why is the risk worth it at this point? And so I think the Broncos are going to reap the reward of that. I loved that they talked about that he was one of the most sought after players this offseason. It's not only the Broncos, it's not only the 49ers. There were other teams that were coming after him and wanting his services because, one, it is hard to find a really good coverage linebacker. It's rare. It's hard to figure it out from college to the NFL because you're asking them to do a lot of very different things at those kind of levels. You can survive on athleticism at the college level and quarterbacks not figuring out exactly how to attack the linebackers. Half of your schedule, if you're on a really good team, is against really low level teams. So you can cover up some of those weaknesses. But I think Greenlaw being added to this defense, it covers up one of the biggest issues on defense last year. I mean, how many times did we complain about the fact that our linebackers were out of position, couldn't keep up with whoever they were in coverage one-on-one, got beat over the top, all those kind of things. And I think the frustrating part was every once in a while, the linebackers would make a really big play. They just kind of be in the right place, right time. And part of that's on them. Like they did good. And all of a sudden everybody like, oh yeah, they're pretty good. And this defense, they're a top 3 defense. They must be some pretty good players. But it was easy to see when you got against some really good teams, especially a good quarterback that knew how to take advantage of them, Broncos just couldn't keep up. And so adding a guy like Greenlaw, I think the other big thing, I know Sanders, he's kind of on his last chance, but this will be a great learning opportunity for him to take himself from going from really good athlete to possibly good football player. And just getting that chance to learn from one of the best in the league right now.
Yeah. Can he stay healthy? I mean, gosh, that is what it comes down to for Dre Greenlaw. And I always say, like, check the ticker underneath. Can be top 3, top 5, assuming no injuries. That changes the game, and it's something that's just a part of it. So we will see. Sometimes it's better to be lucky than good on that front. And I think it's going to take a little bit of time to still say the Broncos they have the magic sauce when it comes to that. We do have James coming in. MHH, how are things? Hot. I'm hot right now in my basement. It's 90 degrees out. I got no AC, but we're trying to pretend that we're in the tropics with our jellyfish shirt today. Camp starting. Can we sign all our guys? So I don't think the Broncos can sign all of their guys. Hopefully they get RJ Harvey figured out soon and Jahdae Barron, if that's who you're talking about. But then you got obviously Allen, Benito, Sutton, and JFM. A lot of potential moving pieces. We'll see.
What's the order of priority for you for all those contracts? Let's even throw in the rookie ones too.
The rookies first. 1A, 1B. Got to get them in there. You don't want to have a holdout, especially we can survive without Jahdae Barron, but I mean, I'd really rather have him out there because that changes the ceiling and the floor of the defense and the versatility and getting guys reps and communication. Like we want to be a team that plays more zone this season, I think. Last year we were very man heavy and we didn't have a lot of versatility in our coverages because of that. And a lot of that requires communication and experience and reps with each other. And if you're not playing, guess what? You're not getting all those things. So want to get him out there. Definitely RJ Harvey as well. And then after that, I think, I don't know if I said it with you, Carl, or somebody else, but it's like you have who's the priority is whoever offers what you're willing to pay them first, right? Like it's kind of like if you remember, bringing it back to that 2015 team, the Broncos had deals on the table for Derek Wolfe and Malik Jackson. Derek came to the table and signed. Derek stayed, Malik left. So I think you have contracts offered for those guys, and who's the priority? Whoever's willing to sign what we're offering right now. We'll change it as it comes, but there's room for all those guys, and you can, not all of them, but if you are willing to play, let's say like JFM right now, he's probably out of the 4 pending free agents, the one that's probably the least valuable, just because you got like you have answers on the defensive line where wide receiver room is like much more in theory right now. But if he offers a contract that's like puts him as the 20th highest paid interior defensive lineman, okay. Well, I mean, I'd rather have Allen than JFM straight up, but like that's good deal. Good. So let's get him back. So it's really like who's willing to offer or willing to accept what's on the table more so than ranking them.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
I think there's a little bit of a difference here. Like Wolfe and Jackson were pretty close in ability. Mm-hmm. You know, what they actually brought to the team. So you could make a very similar contract where Allen, I'm guessing it's probably top 5 money for the position. If I was him, that's what I'd be demanding at this point. Like I said, JFM, if he's around 20, I think, it's gonna have to be where you have them slotted. If they're willing to take where you actually think they're truly valued and they're willing to come into that, then I'm good with it. And I do think there's a way you keep both, but like I said, I don't think you can keep everybody. Sutton, this might be his last year in Denver. Even if they don't sign both those guys, it could be the last year of Sutton. If a couple other receivers really emerge, and I do think Sean Payton believes his system allows for wide receivers to be very successful, whether they're the most talented guy or not. I'm not saying he doesn't need talent, but I think he knows he can get away with not having a top 10 wide receiver to make his system go. And I'm not saying the Sutton's a top 10 receiver, but he is a top 30 guy for sure. And I think they could survive without him if they needed to. You know, if Sutton goes down with injury, how are you going to feel about this team? Concerned. I mean, it's going to hurt. It's going to hurt. Don't get me wrong.
We just don't know enough about these guys, the wide receivers right now.
That's true.
Right? Like I feel like I was kind of talking about the defense last season. It's like you got to roll Yahtzee over and over again to have this defense, which on paper didn't look good entering the season, end up a great unit. Boy, did they. So, I mean, with what we know right now, it's hard to say. But the more positive thing is the air bars are wide on each of these guys. Sure, they might not be able to play, but also they could end up being fantastic star players at the same time. Yeah. So you can believe whatever way. Probably falls more in the middle when you have those the bell curve, right? And more likely in the middle of that. But we'll see. It's going to be interesting. No doubt. I did want to talk a little bit more about Dre Greenlaw here before we start to wrap up the show. I did want to say Todd Ostendorf in the house. Great to see you. Greg asking, do you think Von Miller gets picked up by anyone before training camp? I don't think so. Now that he's waited this long, probably wants for that to blow past. We got David Cremello. How worried are you about the situation with Jahdae Barron? Could be the start of an alarming trend when it comes to the ownership and contract talks. I'm not worried right now. We'll see how it plays out. I don't have any inside information on that. I'm not talking to the agent or Jade or the team inside. So we're just going to let it play out. Worried if it happens year over year, we're having like a lot of ugly outspokenness, kind of like what we're seeing with the Bengals and Shamar Stewart, then maybe we start to get worried about it. But right now, it just is what it is, and we're keeping an eye on it. But
yeah,
I'm not make or break.
I'm definitely more worried about the Harvey situation than I am the Barron situation. Mm-hmm. One, Barron being he's an older rookie, and I guess Harvey is too, so I can't take too much away from that. But I think Barron's going to be able to pick things up pretty quickly. Mm-hmm. I think also his contract's a lot easier. First round picks, there's a lot of them that are fully guaranteed. It wouldn't surprise me if the Broncos finally just said, you know what? Yep, let's just do it. Let's get it over with. Let's get him here. The Harvey one, I think you're going to see a lot of teams really dig in and say, nope, I know Houston did it, but that doesn't mean all of us have to do this. And I think you're going to see a lot of teams push back and say, we're willing to hold out. You need us more than we need you. And I mean, I think the Broncos really do need Harvey, but they also have J.K. Dobbins. So they have a guy that was a starter last year that they can survive with. They've got McLaughlin, who's had some starts in his career. You still have Estime around. I think that they could probably dig in their heels a little bit and say, hey, this is the deal we're willing to offer. It's a very fair deal. It fits in with what we did or what we've done years past, what other teams have done years past. Take it or leave it.
Yeah.
And just a matter of how much Harvey's willing to fight against that or just bet on himself and say, hey, how old is he? Like 23?
Mm-hmm.
And he's
right.
Probably kind of, and kind of going, hey, I need to get in. I can't afford to miss a whole lot of time here. And I mean, he's probably even looking a little bit at like Estime last year. Broncos drafted him. He didn't have a great year. They already went and moved on from him. Already went and found the next guy.
Not quite.
They haven't moved on from him, but
what are you doing? I'm burying you.
Well, I'm not dead.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, you go sign J.K. Dobbins to that kind of contract that you gave him. Like you expect him to be a pretty significant part of your offense. You go use a second round pick on a running back. You expect that guy to be a pretty big part of your offense. Yeah. And McLaughlin, we'll see. I mean, it's going to be a good battle for number 3. But I think right now, Estime, he's going to have to really show up in a way that just shocks the team for him to become 1 or 2 on this roster at running back.
He's still young and things can happen. It's like the wide, again, I'm typically the pessimist one, but it's kind of like the wide receiver room, wide air bars for a lot of these guys right now. So we got George Fox saying, great pod tonight, guys. Thank you so much. Appreciate the comment. Drop the thumbs up as well. You guys are killing it today. Speaking of killing it, he's not like as important to me as my wife is, but like my coffee supplier, Patrick, you got to be you're up there. God bless you, man. When my wife was in the hospital for like 3 weeks of June and just terrible, I'm like, dude, I'm running out. I think I might die. Help. And I had coffee 2 days later, I think. So yeah, unbelievable, Patrick. I mean, I don't even know what to say. Yeah,
I can tell you my Kentucky trip. The other adult that went with me. Our first thing when we got to our place was, where is the best coffee shop in the area? Like we were asking all the locals, and they all said there was this one called Off 4th Street. And so every morning, that's where we started our day. There's just something about that coffee that gets your day going in the right direction. And Patrick, you have done incredible things keeping us here at MHH going well through some difficult times and being able to celebrate with some good times too. And so definitely appreciate all of your generosity throughout the years here. So good to see you here.
Yeah, really do appreciate you. Hope you're doing well as we wrap it up here, because it is Patrick is awesome. God bless you, man. So Greenlaw, how it works, how it doesn't work. We've talked a lot about the defense and the injuries, but I am curious to see how it changes for his role in the defense, because let's make no mistake about it, he's a great linebacker. He was Robin to Fred Warner's Batman in that second level of the defense for the 49ers. And I guess you can still, I don't know what you'd call the cornerbacks. Like he is still second fiddle or third fiddle in the back 7, but he's probably the man running the show when it comes to the linebacker room. How does that look when you don't have Fred Warner next to you now? Grant, it's drop down there, not and like Singleton's fine. I don't think it's negative to Singleton to say he's not Fred Warner. Like, I'm not Ryan Reynolds. My feelings aren't hurt. Okay, it's fine. I can climb more mountains, maybe. I don't know. Probably no more Bronco knowledge. That's probably where it ends. But how the role changes without that like superstar best linebacker all decade team linebacker next to him. But the same, and he also doesn't like the 49ers when they're at their best. They kind of had what the Broncos have now with the unbelievable amount of defensive line talent. And it's a little bit different. They had like first round pick after first round pick and these like length monsters. The Broncos kind of get it done more with like 5 guys. So they don't have to have the double gapping or the 2 gapping, double gap, whatever. Not the same level of premium investments, but still good. And you have Surtain. He never had a Surtain on the outside. So what does that look like for Greenlaw? The biggest thing, again, is can he stay healthy? But it is going to be a different role ask for him when he is the main de facto guy in the linebacker group, with Singleton being, Robin now, compared to when he had Fred Warner next to him.
Yeah, I would agree. But I'd also say, like I said, he's never had a Surtain. Yeah. I don't think he's ever had a secondary that had this much talent across the board. I mean, Brandon Jones, now you got Hufanga, who he's played with. You got Riley Moss, you got Barron. I don't think he's had this much talent other than Fred Warner. The 49ers did a great job investing in that defensive line and pretty much making it where defensive line and linebackers
Nick Bosa
dominate. Right. Well, okay. I know he's had talent. I'm not trying to say he hasn't had, like, that defensive line was great and made life a little bit easier for those linebackers too. And thankfully with the Broncos, he's going to have, like I said, a good defensive line in front of him. I think, yes, he's going to miss his linebacker partner, but he's going to like that he has this incredible secondary around him where maybe he doesn't have to cover up for some of the mistakes of the cornerbacks or the safeties that maybe he and Warner had to do with the 49ers. Mm-hmm. I think maybe that could play into it. And I agree. I think there is going to be an adjustment period. Communication is going to be different because, I mean, you've been talking to one guy over and over. Hey, you're here. I'm here. Now he's going to have to be learning to talk to Singleton. They're going to have to learn their own new language of how they're going to be able to communicate through all these things. So it's going to be some time, but I think you can still single out Greenlaw and watch what he does on the field and say, okay, yep, that guy, he's got it. He's got this incredible talent. Yes, he can cover one-on-one if you need him to. Oh, he can drop back in zone and be able to read things well. Yep, he can come back and help in the run game when you need him to. You can see that even without Fred Warner being next to him. But you're right. I mean, it's easier when, hey, if I make a mistake, I've got this guy next to me that can make up for when I mess up. Now that is gone.
Who was the linebacker that was so good for those number of years next to Kuechly? Thomas Davis? I want to say Thomas Davis. Like, good player. Yeah. Without Kuechly, though, I mean, like, it's different, right? It's different. Greenlaw has a chance. He was the highest he was on this list, number 3. He's got a chance to he has a chance to be the second best linebacker in football. I mean, really, he does. So we'll see what it looks like with this. I'm excited about it. Just stay healthy. Phil McLaughlin coming in here. Good evening, Nick, Carl, and Deacon Scott. It's the offseason, so for fun, you just got a call from the Broncos headquarters, and they have hired you. What position did you apply for? Gosh, I don't know. Assistant to the general manager. Instead of assistant general, I don't know, something fun. I don't want to be a scout. I don't want to live those road hours and just deal with all of that. I want something. Maybe I can have an advisory position. It's completely remote. They pull me in from time to time. I'll talk with them. They can send me a check here or there. But I don't know if I want the grueling hours that are demanded for that position. So something just some offshoot advisory position. Team building philosophy advisor. Boom, we did it.
I'm going to shoot high and go for owner/CEO.
Okay.
No, I'm a big numbers guy. So like CFO, chief financial officer, running the numbers. I could get into, I wouldn't be that guy, but I'm saying like part of his group that would be running the numbers, trying to figure things out. That'd probably be where I'd like to go. I've always wanted to be an accountant. Like there's been like 4 or 5 careers that I've wanted in my life.
Nerd.
I know accountant sounds really boring and stupid, but the idea of just getting to play with numbers all day sounds like a lot of fun to me. I always want to be lawyer, possibly nurse/doctor kind of thing, go somewhere in the medical field, and then pastor and end up in that one. But no, I do. I think that's probably where I would end up, is somewhere with numbers.
Well, there you go. And as we wrap it up here, thanks for all the super chats today. You guys are killing it. Michael Ronquillo says, great show tonight. Nick and Carl on building the Broncos. Go Bo Broncos. Go, Michael. Appreciate all you guys coming in here today. Papa Bear, Boss Man, Chad, Michael Ronquillo a few times, of course. Eric Flynn a few times. Great to see you. Camden in here asking us questions. Drew, he wants to trade Sutton. We'll see, man. I'd be a little bit, it makes me a little bit tight, you know what, thinking about those unproven wide receivers and Evan Ingram's age and injury history and the wide running back room. Like Sutton's the only offensive weapon I have any sort of trust in right now. Like there's potential with a lot of those guys, but ask me again after like week 8 and we'll have a little bit better idea. Let's talk again trade deadline. Like if somebody came in right now and offered the Broncos like 2 second-round picks, I'd be like, okay, you know what? Fine. We'll figure it out. We'll use one of the second-round picks for somebody else and we'll figure it out. But I just do not know enough feel confident enough in the room that they have having solid things. I don't want to waste this defense. I don't want to waste a year of the rookie cost control contract. I don't want to waste the year of the offensive line and all these guys being back and all these guys about to hit free agency because you have nobody that you trust to throw the ball to. So it's really risky.
I really don't want to stunt the growth of Bo Nix.
That too.
Anything that I think would hurt Bo Nix, I'm not willing to do. And I feel like getting rid of Cortland Sutton would hurt Bo Nix. Mm-hmm. So that'd be a big one for me of why I'm not willing to do it right now. Like I said, if players just emerge and everybody's like, yep, we got it, we're good, and somebody comes in with an offer that you can't refuse, I have a hard time believing some team's going to come in and offer 2 second-round picks for a 30-year-old wide receiver with a big contract. But weirder things have happened in the NFL. Teams panic. A couple players go down with injury, and all of a sudden, then you get teams like the Rams. They're like, F those picks. We're going for Super Bowl. And let's say Puka Nacua goes down with injury, and they need a wide receiver 1. Okay, yep, we'll take it. We'll run with it. We'll figure it out.
Man, who knows? I guess we'll see how it plays out, but really fun to see Drew Greenlaw get some hype. I've been the linebackers. They're only as good as your coverage and your defensive line in front of them, but it's good to have them for sure. Appreciate everyone coming in. We have way more viewers and comments and everything than the thumbs up and everything, so make sure you guys are doing that. Follow Carl and I on Twitter. Carl is at Carl Dumler MHH. I'm at Kendell MHH. Also follow us at Mile High Huddle over at facebook.com/Mile High Huddle and facebook.com/Mile High Huddle pod. And as that ticker says there underneath, please subscribe, like, and share. Carl, it's good to have you back. Feels like it's been a bit since we've crossed paths. I mean, gosh, it really does feel like it's been a second. So good to have you. Any final thoughts?
Yeah, like I said, I'm happy to have Greenlaw. Glad they got him for the contract they did. I think it was fair on both sides. And I think he's going to be a really nice addition to this defense. You know, there might be a couple other areas that see a little bit of regression from what we saw last year, but making that linebacker room what it is now, that could really make this defense take another step forward. And they were already great last year. This could be really what gets them over the top.
Yeah, for sure. Well, appreciate everyone. Again, shout out to all our super chat givers. I'll see you guys again tomorrow morning. We'll see you again Tuesday evening. Have a great one. Kindness and compassion. Stay cool. Go Broncos.